Boop. This hangout is now live. All right. I have this. Have that. Okay, everybody ready to go? I have a 2-year-old Mad Elf in my glass, and I'm very pleased.
I heard you just say I have a 2-year-old. I was like, and then
I do. I have a 2-year-old in this glass. Okay, we're gonna get started here in 3, 2. Howdy, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Carla and Crappy Show. This is perhaps one of the most fun weeks of the season, one of the most fun shows that we do every single year, because we talk about stuff that's almost completely inconsequential. Unless you're a fan of the teams or you're glum in the world, Cheez-Its Bowl. We're talking about bowlapalooza here. Carla, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you? Happy bowl season.
Thank you. Happy bowl season. We just get started in a couple of days here. So this is the perfect time to go through some of our more interesting bowl games that don't have any consequences. We're not doing New Year's Day bowls. We're not talking about semifinals yet. We will do that at a later point. But this is when we get together with some other folks and talk about some of the sillier bowl games. Carla, we've had a larger contingent.
Yeah,
in the past.
Yeah. Normally, this is the show where we spend half of our time just trying to get everybody connected to the call.
Yes, and that was easy. That was easy.
Yeah, and that was a lot easier tonight because the guest is somebody that I happen to be married to. Hi, honey. My husband David, who's in the dining room at the moment. I'm in my office.
Studio B. Studio A and Studio B.
We invited the usual crew, and it's just a busy time of year for everybody. Sure. And due to time constraints and holiday parties and probably something happening with the Titans, that we weren't able to get a ton of people with us. But I'm happy to have you, David. Hi.
Hi.
Mwah.
I'm happy to have you too. I'm not gonna try to kiss or anything, but for those, David has done this with us for several years now, and David is like Carla, a reformed sports writer, someone who came to his senses a couple years ago and found a real job. So David, we're again really happy that you could join us, and looking forward to your perspective. And then we have AJ.
Hi, I'm here. I'm here sometimes.
He is here sometimes. He is here again. And this is the perfect the perfect show for AJ because we're digging into COSA teams. The AAC teams, and this is
CUSA. Let's get it right. It's
CUSA. Excuse me.
For all times. I don't care what Conference USA says. That's CUSA.
For those of you who don't know, I'm in bed on Saturdays by 10 o'clock. So AJ's one of the hip kids who knows this stuff. I have no idea.
And what's funny is none of my bowl games contain any Group of 5 teams. not on one. Not even
one twist.
Still expecting you. We're still expecting your attention here. Yeah. And we'll start with this. And I think I ask a variation of this question on this show every single year, at least since the playoff has started. And that question is: did the committee get it right? And to prove that I'm not as the Ohio State fan fishing for sympathy here, I will say that I think it did. I think this is the lineup that pretty much the only lineup that they could come up with at this point. But David, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think are you happy with how the Final Four looks?
I think so. I think when you see that Oklahoma redeemed themselves against Texas and Ohio State, that mark of losing to Purdue the way they did is tough. That's tough to get over. Just in general, and I think we knew this was going to be the case whether they picked Ohio State or Georgia or Oklahoma. We've got about 10 teams that have made this playoff since it started. So, you think, twice as many spots to compete for a national championship. It would lend itself to more variance, but that hasn't happened. Now, Washington and Michigan State have competed, and there have been a few upsets. But wow, Clemson and Alabama.
Yeah, I know.
Again,
Does the field need to be expanded?
I think so. I mean, I think at the end of every year, it's always who's left out, and there's so much consternation over the 5th and 6th team. So expand it to six or 8, and get a group of 5 team in there, so we don't have to have UCF feeling bad for 2 straight years that they're not involved. So let's expand this yet again. Okay. 4 has been good. 8 I think will be better.
Okay. AJ, number 1, did the committee get it right? Number 2, do we expand this and get a bid to a group of 5 team?
Yeah. So the committee absolutely got this right, because Carla, crappy. If you want to get to the playoff, what don't you do?
Lose to Purdue.
No. Try again.
Lose a game to a 500 team.
Nope. Try again. Both of you. One of you is a Penn State fan. One of you is an Ohio State fan. Both of you have gone through this. What don't you do if you want to get into the playoff?
What?
You don't lose 2 games, Georgia. So Georgia fans were real bent out of shape because they're like, we played Alabama closer than anybody. We almost beat them in the national title game. We almost beat them in the SEC title game. The Alabama game wasn't your problem. It was getting your butt stomped in by LSU in late October. And I talked to a friend of mine who's a Georgia fan, and he 100% put this on the LSU game. He said, they beat LSU, they legitimately have a shot at 4 and getting back into the playoff. Honestly, I think had they done that, the conference or the playoff committee would have seeded them 3, Notre Dame 4, and then we would have finally seen somebody beat Notre Dame. And not just beat them.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think they got it right. Ohio State, don't lose to Purdue, and Oklahoma beat Texas. We talked about this on the conference championship show. If you are Ohio State and you want into the playoff, you have to beat Northwestern by more than 14 or however much it was. I mean, it wasn't close.
It's a nice win, but no.
You got a 59-0 Northwestern if you wanted to get into the playoff. You didn't 59-0 them. So Oklahoma won. You won too, but not by as much. They got it right. If you're going to expand, we're going to 16. Let's not go to 8. Here, you want to party? Here, let's go. Let's party. Every group of 5 team automatically gets in. Every Power 5 team automatically gets in, and you've now got another 6 spots to give in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's party. Let's really do this. I saw a post that said every division champion should get in.
Mm-hmm.
And that would put Pitt in the playoff, which is the only thing we need. I put Pitt in. Right? But yeah, like those are the sorts of things. You make the division races a little bit more exciting. You give the higher seeds like Alabama and Clemson games off because they're clearly the better teams. But the idea here is that you would have things like every group of 5 team, every conference has a legitimate shot, and the whole reason you play to win the conference, just like in college basketball. Every team is playing to get in. Mm-hmm. Now, is that going to lead to Alabama whomping the crap out of Troy? Probably. But at the same time, you're giving these shots to these teams, and sometimes you get a UBMC or UMBC beating Virginia.
Yeah.
So these are the sorts of things I'd like to see. That I think this would make a lot of the lower tiers, because right now this is their season, right? All of the lower conference teams, all of the group of 5 teams. This is their chance. They want to go win a bowl game. They wanted to win their conference championship. Yeah. Now they want to win a bowl game. Have them in the playoff. And by the way, going back to David's point about 5 and 6 always getting left out, there are in college basketball 69 and 70 get mad about being left out. So
there will always be something.
There will always be somebody mad that they didn't get in.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think that at 16. You have everybody who's got a legitimate case to say that they could probably play. But I'd love to see it go to 16. 8's probably the more likely expansion. You get all Power 5. You get 1 group of 5, and then you get 2 at large. I think that's the logical explanation.
Carla, what do you think? The postseason looking correct to you?
Because nobody beat Notre Dame already, damn it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Oklahoma was the right one to put in there. I agree with AJ on the, if Georgia wanted to get in, don't lose to LSU. And then in Ohio State, that Purdue loss was just too much. With Oklahoma overcoming.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the committee got it right. I don't know. Part of me really wanted to see Oklahoma jump Notre Dame because Notre Dame was the only team that didn't play last weekend. But they couldn't do that. I mean, they just, with Notre Dame being unbeaten, they couldn't do that. But I would have liked to see.
They could actually. They could do that. They could.
Yeah. The playoff committee is real simple and straightforward. They just group. If you're undefeated, you're higher ranked than a team that has lost one game, no matter how good that loss was.
Yeah.
And then they move down, and then they basically rank inside of those things. So if you go look at the actual top 25s, a lot of times it's just here are the undefeated teams, here are the one-loss teams, here are the two-loss teams, and occasionally they'll sprinkle a two-loss team above a one-loss team or above an undefeated team if they're not a Power 5 team. But yeah, they're really straightforward. I love that everybody's like, oh, we got to figure out the playoff committee. It's like, nah, it ain't that hard. It's pretty straightforward.
Carla, would an expanded field make this a more interesting thing?
I don't know. I think it'd be more entertaining. If Mackenzie Milton had stayed healthy, I would have loved to. We would have been having this conversation again about UCF. I mentioned that during our Group of 5 show that I would have loved to have seen UCF at least get a shot at it. And the way you do that is you expand. You can take the logic that AJ put out there and flip it both directions, right? Regardless of how many teams you have in a playoff, somebody's going to complain about being left out. So it doesn't matter if, even if you expand to 6 teams or 8 teams or 10 teams, then if you're at 10, then 11 and 12 are going to complain. If you're at 16 and 17 and 18, it doesn't matter. You just need to come up with a system that works, maybe give some bye weeks in there. The thing that I love the FCS system. It takes too damn long to get all the way through an FCS playoff. And that's my thing is that I know college football is a big deal. I think if you drag it out too long, it's going to lose some momentum, which is why bowl season works, because you have a bunch of games in a crunched 2-week period of time that you can get everybody in. I think if you did a 16-team playoff and you only played on the weekends because that's what sponsors would want you to do, and that's what teams would want you to do, so you could put butts in seats, it's going to take too damn long to get to the end of the playoff. Unless you sprinkled some bowl games in there to keep, and I don't know how you would have to sort that out. So I would be in favor of expansion, but not all the way to 16. I think 8 makes sense. I think even going to 6 makes sense, and having a first round. So then 1 and 2 get a bye. I tend to prefer keeping it smaller. I think, although the logic for letting division champions in, I like the logic because it does make things a little bit more even. I just don't think that would ever get approved because it would just take too long.
It would take too long, and then if you're doing 16 teams, you're stretching that out for a month, and you're putting a lot of stress on students who want to go to the games, alumni who want to travel, because you assume you're going to different bowl games or different neutral sites. But I feel like a 6 or an 8 would be manageable. Wouldn't add. I mean, it's generally only going to add an extra week. I think that would be.
Yeah.
I'm all for more football. So yeah, I'd be good for that.
8's the logical one. Okay, we get all the Power 5 teams in. You get a Group of 5 rep. You get 2 at-larges for to be really brutally honest here, last year where Alabama didn't win the SEC championship because they weren't in the title game, but they got into the playoff because they had one loss. So I think they still get in. Everybody still goes home happy, more or less. You're gonna get a couple teams in there, and you have the conference championship games meaning something,
right?
Yeah. That's an excellent point. There is lots of time for discussion about the Final Four, and we will get to that in future episodes of the Carla and Crappy Show. For now, we are going to start with the bowl games that they're just playing for fun, and I'm actually going to get this started because that's sort of where my alma mater usually ends up, in some early December bowl game. We're going to start on December 19th. my Bobcats will play San Diego State in the Frisco Bowl, which I was not aware until I checked, is not actually in San Francisco. It's in suburban Dallas in the FC Dallas Stadium, which is actually not a bad. I think it's probably it's a good sized venue, 25,000 or so. But it's got to be disappointing. So it's like, hey, we're going to San Francisco. No, we're going to the suburbs of Dallas. So,
now, the people who actually wanted to go see this game are quite happy because they don't have to pay $500 a night for
this is true. This is true.
Just throw that out there.
That is there's the travel expense. I don't think the quality of dining might be not as good in Frisco, Texas. It would be San Francisco, but that's all stuff you can work out. OU is favored by 3 in this game, and I'm just gonna I'll go through my take here real quick, and then we can. As we with all the games, get a quick opinion from everybody else. The Aztecs sort of did the opposite of what you want to do in the stretch of a college football season. They reeled off 7 wins in your first 9 games, including a win over the Fighting Herms back in September when the Fighting Herms were ranked, and then they lost their last 3 games of the season. OU, on the other hand, closed pretty well. In the last 7 games, the Cats lost just twice. A really tight game to eventual MAC champion Northern Illinois, and the bizarre head scratcher to our hated rival in Oxford, Ohio, whose name I will not mention.
But there's another school that has the same name.
Yes, Miami of. Included in that stretch was an absolute beating of Buffalo, and the Buffalo's only got a regular season loss was to Army. So I think that was that was a nice win. Respectable defense from the Bobcats, balanced offense featuring Nathan Rourke, tailback AJ Ouellette. I don't have any idea how to pronounce his name, and Poppy White, receiver who finished the season as OU's all-time leading receiver. I look for the Bobcats to keep up the momentum and beat the Aztecs in Frisco. Going down my little line here. AJ, what do you think about this one?
So San Diego State was doing their usual thing where they just churn out a 200-yard-a-game running back. Then he got hurt. When they lost to Nevada, that's kind of when the season kind of fell apart. They weren't really necessarily beating anybody all that well, right? They beat ASU, which is the Fighting Herms, by a touchdown. But every other game, a 3-point win over Eastern Michigan. They beat Boise in Boise.
Yep.
Just a reminder there, by 6. Air Force by 4. San Jose State by 3. A 1-11 San Jose State team by 3. That game was brutal. I watched that game. The sands of time came together, and it was rough. But yeah, they just fell apart at the end of the season. I think they lost their running back at one point. He came back, but he was never really 100%. So yeah, I could see why Ohio is ranked higher. Bobcats are going to win this game unless San Diego State, has a miraculous, practice session over the next few weeks.
Okay. Carla, what do you think?
I have a lot of this. You guys all took all my notes. When you come to 2 games or 2 teams,
notes.
A little. I have 1 sentence. I have 1 sentence about this game, and you already said it.
We took Carla's note.
You took my note. So when you have 2 teams that you know nothing about, and we've talked about this before earlier in the season, you always take the hot hand. Ohio's won 4 or 5. San Diego State has lost 4 or 5. And Ohio's win over Buffalo, we talked about that game on our Group of 5 show, and we're actually having fun that night when that was happening. Talking about that game. So yeah, Ohio wins this game, and I have a personal thing with San Diego State that David knows that I won't say. So go Bobcats.
Okay, David, what do you think?
Well, I will. I'll counter your opinion that there's nothing going on in Frisco. It is the home of the Dallas Cowboys. That is headquarters.
Yes.
That's I've got a vested interest in this. If there's any overlap in these 2 fan bases and the Dallas Cowboys, Frisco is where you get your Dallas Cowboys experience and go see the star. Okay. I would also pick Ohio for a lot of the reasons we've talked about. San Diego State limping into this. At some point, you just got to respect what Ohio has done over the last 15 years under Frank Solich. They just kind of they go to bowl games and they quietly churn out 8 and 9 win seasons. And there's not a Ben Roethlisberger or Michael Turner or Khalil Mack or I feel like Ohio's been consistently good, and I can't name a single player who's played for them in the last 15 years. So
that is exactly correct. That is exactly correct.
I think I'm going to go with the anonymous Ohio Bobcats in this one.
Sweet. We'll take it. Next up, David, you are in charge of telling us about the Bahamas Bowl on December 21st. This is Florida International against Toledo. Toledo is favored by 6. David, what do you got?
Well, isn't part of the reason we pick these games the sponsor and the bowl itself,
sure.
The absurdity of it? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to get that off the table.
And this one, I mean, this is one of my. They play it in like this little tiny. I think it's a rugby stadium. But it's like a high school stadium with a roof, sort of. But there's palm trees and it's the Bahamas, for crying out loud.
Well, and who sponsors the Bahamas Bowl but the largest contiguous industrial complex in the United States, in Chicago, Elks Grove Village, and their slogan "Makers Wanted." So this is the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl.
I feel like this is a new sponsor for the Bahamas Bowl. Is that?
It is. They used to be Popeyes.
Yes, which brought us the greatest GIF of all time, which was I think it was during the national anthem. They were doing the U.S. national anthem, and all the players are there, like hands across their chests, and then it goes out and it zooms out to the flags across the top of the stadium, and there's like the U.S. flag, and then a bunch of Popeyes flags. And it's one of the greatest images ever of just like the Popeyes flags just waving in the wind.
That's outstanding.
It's just so great.
That's outstanding. How could you couldn't be upset about everything?
No, I'm upset that Popeyes doesn't sponsor the dang Bahamas Bowl anymore. That's what I'm more upset about.
I love it because it's brought us an industrial complex in Chicago has sponsored a bowl game in the Bahamas that involves a team from Toledo and Miami. So
it's perfect.
I mean, as we're going to see, I think we've really outdone ourselves on bowl sponsors this year. So I'm really excited about that. The game itself, if you would have told me that FIU and Toledo have played in bowl games maybe twice in the last 4 years and they've played in the regular season, I would believe you. I would admit to have watched at least 5 games that these two teams have played over the last 3 years. They have not played since 2010. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why I think FIU and Toledo are a match in heaven, but
it seems right. It really does.
We've got an over/under in this game of 68.5. This game is always pretty bonkers. So that's why I don't have any particular insight on either of these teams other than the fact that they're going to score a ton of points. They're playing in a ridiculously named game, and for some reason I think they're basically in a conference together. So for that reason, I'll pick FIU.
It's the MAC South, Florida International in the MAC South. AJ, what do you think?
I mean, look, we've had a lot of great bowl sponsors. Last year was the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
They're back.
No, the Gasparilla Bowl is, but I don't think.
But it's not Bad Boy Mowers.
It's not Bad Boy. I thought it was Bad Boy Mowers still.
Is it still Bad Boy Mowers? I don't know. All I know is that I just see it as Gasparilla Bowl. But honestly, this is the point of bowl season. It's Friday, December 21st. You're probably going to be hanging out with your family or friends of some sort. Maybe it's an office Christmas party, and you look up on the TV, and what's there but that sweet, sweet Bahamas Bowl, sponsored by an industrial complex in Chicago. It is like if there was the more you know graphic of just like the letters flying with a rainbow behind it. I just want to remake that with bowl season because that's what this is. It's content that ESPN can put on television. Who cares what the sponsors are? I mean, there was that one, what was the Las Vegas Bowl?
Besides the sponsors? No.
Well, there was the Las Vegas Bowl that was sponsored by a lube company, but not that kind of lube. It was industrial lube. It was like the Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl or whatever. Yeah. This is bowl season. It doesn't matter who wins this game. FIU's probably going to win this game. I don't know why. Because is Butch Davis still the coach at FIU? We don't.
I believe so. I believe so.
Look, we believe, and that's all that isn't that part of the season. Just believing.
When a game that if it were played on September 21st would be on ESPN3 and you wouldn't give a crap about, when it's appointment viewing, it's bowl season.
Yes.
That's it.
I will stop what I'm doing on a Thursday afternoon at work and turn it on just because it's there. Yes.
Also, real quick. Oh, it is. I believe it is still the Bad Boy Motors Gasparilla Bowl. Okay, it is.
I did. That is confirmed. Yes.
Confirmed.
I think we were thinking of the Cheribundi Tart Cherry Boca Raton. Now it's just the Cheribundi Boca Raton Bowl. So everybody pour one out for our friend the Tart Cherry.
For the Tart Cherries. Save the Tart Cherries for beer, people. That's what those are for.
Just real quick, shout out to the Gasparilla Bowl for being played not in Tropicana Field anymore. They actually got moved up to Raymond James. So shout out to you guys.
I'm glad they're still doing something with that building. Carla, do you have thoughts?
Other than
about the bowl?
Other than the fact that this has been my long-standing theory is that from the college football playoff announces it's 4 teams. I still think that teams 5 and 6 should go to the Bahamas and play in this bowl because you didn't get a trip to the college football playoff, but dang it, go to the Bahamas and have some fun.
You have been consistent about this, yes.
Yeah, I just think that would be fun. The size of the stadium kind of blows that up, but because nobody cares anyway. So go to the Bahamas, have fun.
You mean to tell me? All right, hold on, time out. I got to ask Crappy this question. It's a real honest to God question.
Okay.
Let's say Carla's dream comes true this year, and the college football playoff has announced their top 4, and 5 and 6 are Georgia and Ohio State, but they're in the Bahamas Bowl. How quickly are you booking flights?
I mean, this is a competitive situation because there's that's like a 30,000 seat stadium.
Yes.
And it's going to be pricey.
Yeah.
Right.
Given if I have unlimited resources, yeah, absolutely. I am in the Bahamas. I am in the stadium. I am going to that game. I do not care.
You know what? I would like to take Carla's idea further, and I would like to say that 5 and 6, there is a literal hat drawing to see what bowl they play in. Just like they swirl around a bowl, and you get to find out that Georgia and Ohio State, you're going to Boise to play on the blue turf. How? Oh my God! I want that so badly. Just to watch Twitter melt.
I mean, put Ohio State and OU in the Frisco Bowl. How would that be? That'd be fun. I would be a mess for that one actually. Did I give an opinion on the Bahamas? I don't think I did.
I haven't given my opinion yet.
You haven't? Okay, right.
No. FIU wins. It's a defense optional. Both offenses, have over 400 yards per game. Defenses give up 400 yards per game. Toledo goes up almost 300 yards passing per game. FIU likes to throw the ball. That's the reason.
Okay.
FIU wins.
Okay. Toledo, raise the flag. Go Rockets. Boom. On December 22nd, David, this is your game as well. The Jared Birmingham, who sounds like a nice Southern gentleman, is holding a bowl game. I did not check this. I assume it's in Birmingham, Alabama, but I don't know for sure. The game will be played by Wake Forest and Memphis, and Memphis is favored by 5. Who is David? Who is Jared Birmingham?
I don't know. It's who was the character at the end of The Office that was played by James Spader? Was it Robert California? This kind of sounds.
Oh, I think that's right. Yes.
Kind of sounds like fake Robert California, who just is really into mid-level college football. But I mean, you kind of stole my joke, but I'm glad I stumbled on a obscure pop culture reference in response.
Awesome. No, this is one of the better ones this year. Absolutely.
But when Crafty said Jared Birmingham Bowl, I was just like, man, Jared got his own bowl game. Good for you, Jared. And he went, who can I get? Who can I get? I'll take you, Wake Forest. I'll take you, Memphis. There is no greater dichotomy, too, by the way.
This is the former papajohns.com bowl. So, I'm glad, tradition is still alive. But on a serious note, or I guess a actual picking of the game note, Memphis, Darrell Henderson, one of the more underrated players this year, 1,900 rushing yards, 22 touchdowns. Mike Norvell's done good things in 3 years. Wake is kind of what you'd expect out of a 6-6, 3-5 team from a major conference. They've been all over the place. So I'll probably take Memphis as just a team that has looked more solid all year, whereas Wake is limping into this thing.
Okay. Looking down the line, I'm actually up next, and the thing that was striking me as I was looking at looking at seasons and what we've done coming into this game. Memphis offense in its last 5 games, this is scoring 59, 47, 28, 52, and then 41 in a loss to UCF. I think pretty clearly Jared Birmingham is going to be giving his trophy or whatever he has for the winner of this game to the Tigers. AJ, what do you think?
This is one of the very few, and this is actually the sad part about bowl season this year. Recently, they've been changed because ESPN now owns like half of the bowls. Shout out to ESPN events. They've started putting the group of 5 teams together. They stopped having group of 5 teams play Power 5 teams. This is one of the few that still has a group of 5 team playing a Power 5 team. Get bent, Demon Deacons. Go Tigers. I want Memphis to win by 30, just for no reason.
Okay. That sounds good. Carla, what do you think?
This last game I said was defense optional. This game might be even more defense optional. Wake had to win their last game to get into the to even get a bowl bid. So Wake, enjoy your bowl berth. Memphis offense is just too darn good. I like Memphis in this game. But I want to know, like, how do they present the trophy? Like, is the trophy for the Jared Birmingham Bowl like presented on one knee in a red velvet box?
I think it has to be. It has to be. And then someone's like hiding in the bushes to take pictures and post them on Instagram as friends, and I don't know. Maybe, hopefully working on that.
I want there to be just like, congratulations, you went to Jared and won. And they just hand them this big stupid trophy.
What if there's a guy named Jared Birmingham who shows up from somewhere
Jared Birmingham. Is there a person named Jared? There's a Jared Birmingham who is a country artist, but he doesn't spell it the same way. He has a song called "The Tree Is in the Seed," and I really thought I read that as "The Tree Is in the Shed," and I went, "That makes sense."
Christmas season, the tree is taken apart. It's in the shed. I get it. I'm curious. How is Jared Birmingham spelled?
With Jarrod. Gerard. I'm just saying it's Jared Birmingham. Google thinks it's Jared Birmingham. Also, shout out to you, Jared Birmingham, who lives somewhere in the state of North Carolina. I will not blow up your spot like that. There is a real Jared Birmingham. So his whole SEO is messed up for the next month. Good job.
Outstanding. Next up on our, we seem to have Memphis as the consensus pick there. On the same day, December 22nd, I picked another bowl game that also has a massive military-industrial complex sponsor, Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, and also the other bowl I picked was in I guess is Fort Worth would be suburban Dallas, right? I think that's about right.
Excuse me, they are the second half of the complex.
Yeah,
the Metroplex. How dare you slander Fort Worth?
I've been to Fort Worth. I can slander them if I like to. This is Army. My costume change versus Houston. Army is favored by 3. And basically, I'm just I'm still stoked about the last weekend. Army finished ranked. Army beats Navy last weekend to extend its winning streak in that series to 3 games. Houston's offense is potent. The Cougars are scoring 45 points a game, but that doesn't help them if they never have the ball. And that's where I think the Army is the pick here. Hooah, let's go. Who's up? AJ, what do you think?
Sure. This is going to be rad. And it's entirely because Houston gets to practice every year by playing Navy.
Yes.
So this is not going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a triple option team. What are they going to do? No, Houston plays a Navy every year. It's fine. No, this game should be really, really good. Over under on this game is magically 67. I don't know where the 67 points are coming from if Army holds the ball for 45 minutes, but I guess that's one way to play war. Congratulations, Lockheed Martin. You've spent some of your money not on weaponry.
Yep. We appreciate that.
But yeah, this game should be super fun. It's 3:30 on a Saturday, live on ESPN. Go watch this game. This game should be fun. Hopefully, Houston holds the ball a little bit longer. We get that real 67 over under.
That'd be fun. Carla.
So true story. We tried to go out on Saturday night. That was Saturday night, right? That we were trying to go out and meet some friends, and somehow managed to stumble across the Army watch party for the Army Navy game. Oops.
That could be interesting.
It was quite interesting. We still had a lovely time, but probably the coolest thing about the whole night was that when all the West Pointers stood and sang the alma mater in the bar. That was super cool. And even though I'm a Navy girl, it was really cool to be in the room when that happened.
Nice.
And to see the emotions. That was really cool. This is another one you got to take the hot hand. Houston has a prolific offense. Army has the number 9 total defense in the country. Houston's lost 3 of 5. Army hasn't lost since September 22nd to Oklahoma. That's an okay loss.
Yeah, I think so.
I see what you did there.
See? Yeah. Yeah, I think Army wins this game.
Sweet. David, what do you think?
I think so. Houston has. I think they lost 3 out of the last 4 this year, but they've put up points all year. Never fewer than 31 points, as we talked about the option. That's going to change. They're not going to score 31 in this game, but not just because of the option. No Ed Oliver, the temperamental superstar defensive end who made some headlines earlier this year. No quarterback, De'Eric. I can't remember his last name. De'Eric King. There we go. Fast response on my notes. So I'm going to pick Army, and obviously we got to shout out to Jeff Munkin at Army, who has a chance to have the first 11-win season in Army history, first back-to-back 10-win seasons in Army history. I think you got to say this guy is their best coach since Red Blake. So shout out to Red Blake.
That's actually probably the case. I seriously have been stoked by an Army season because I'm an old Army guy. My dad and I, my father, who is an ex-Marine, pardon me, my father, who is a Marine. This is a big thing between the two of us every year. So I've been enjoying this a lot.
This feels like a game.
And if there is a game, I'm sorry.
I was going to say this feels like a game Army wins by 7, but it's not even that close.
That could be. Or you could win by 7, but it's just you look at the score and if you watch the game, it's like, oh boy, it wasn't even that tight. If we're talking about sponsorship, this might be the winner. I'm going to put it. I would put it in the finals actually on December 26th, the Cheez-Its Bowl in lovely Phoenix, Arizona. Carla, this is a Cal versus TCU, and the line here is a pick'em. Actually, Carla, you picked a challenging one. What do you get?
I did. I also have
Cheez-Its
handy because I think the bowl season finally got this right because you might need a box of Cheez-Its to get through this game. You're definitely going to need snacks.
Sustenance.
If you've been even hanging, because really, isn't that what the bowl season is all about? To sit on your couch and eat snacks. Finally, a bowl sponsorship that makes sense.
This is why I've always appreciated the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Exactly, and Tostitos doesn't sponsor the Fiesta Bowl anymore.
I know.
So Cheez-Its is stepping in here. Although I will say that I think I probably would have enjoyed the Goldfish Bowl a little bit more because I like Goldfish crackers better than Cheez-Its.
Yeah, I agree.
But but okay, so here we are with Cheez-Its. We have two very lackluster offenses in this game. TCU ranks number 93 in the country in offense. Cal is an abysmal 112 in total offense.
Which hurts my soul. That hurts my soul real hard. Justin Wilcox has brought out the caveman Cal football. He literally took them back to the Stone Age. We're not going to play offense. Cal only play defense.
Yeah, and they play really good defense, right? Because they're number 16 in the country in total defense. TCU is number 26. TCU is an interesting story because they lost to Ohio State and then lost to Texas in the next week, and then like completely fell off of everybody's radar. Like we totally forgot about TCU after that loss in Jerry World to your Buckeyes. The low point of their season, and the wheels just kind of fell off for them. I mean, the low point of their season was a 27-26 loss at Kansas. Woof. That's not a good loss. Cal, on the other hand, Cal's signature win this year, you could go back to like 2 games to figure this out. You could either say that it was the 12-10 barn burner over Washington, over a ranked Washington team, or a 15-14 win over arch rival USC, the first time that they've won that game in like 14 years.
The answer is USC. That game was awful. That game was brutal. And it was, again, goes back to Justin Wilcox, caveman Cal football.
Yeah. So I mean,
we need to put Cal in the SEC about 7 or 8 years ago.
7 or 8 years ago,
that would be perfect.
Yeah, the 6-3 finals. Cal's last bowl appearance was in 2015. I don't know who wins this game. I'm going to say that the Cal defense, Justin Wilcox, go win your first bowl game, darn it. Because I think the Cal defense is enough against the TCU team that has just, been sporadic. They're not really all that thrilled to be playing in this bowl game because they expected to have a much more competitive season this year. I think they're probably disappointed by the way that they finished out the season, that stretch in the middle. Cal is excited to be playing in this bowl game. They haven't played in a bowl game since 2015, which the kids on their current roster means most of them have not played in a bowl game. So just because of that, grab yourself a box of Cheez-Its or your favorite snacks and go Bears.
Go Bears. Okay. David, what do you think?
Kind of like Carla said, that TCU has been a little disappointing this year. Every now and then, for all the great things Gary Patterson's done in his long and illustrious career at TCU, there's always just you have a couple of 10-win seasons and then a stinker like this where things just don't go right. But I'm still going to pick TCU. They'll regroup against a Cal team that's just not all there. Caveman Cal football, not a complete team. I'll go with TCU after they rebounded at the end of the year against Baylor and Oklahoma State.
Okay, we are doing an awesome job of selling this game, by the way. AJ, can you help us here?
Oh, go Cal! I mean, let's not even play games here. TCU, like Carla said, they're coming in disappointed. Also, these Cheez-Its are delicious. And
look at that!
Yeah, I got Cheez-Its too.
Cheers.
Cal.
Cheers.
Cal, honestly, if they get an offensive coordinator, Cal could be extremely dangerous in the Pac-12. They don't have one right now. or at least they don't have an offense worth playing right now. And it's super funny to me as a Pac-12 watcher to see Cal go from being this like, we're going to try and outscore everybody sort of team with Sonny Dykes to being this exceedingly defensive heavy team under Justin Wilcox. They've been far more successful under Justin Wilcox. I think Cal gets it done here. It's going to be, at least it'll be quick. I mean, there's not going to be like, they're not throwing 70 passes and stopping the clock every 5 seconds.
It'll be like a 2-hour game.
Yeah, this is a 2.5-hour game, y'all. Plus, it's a 9 p.m. game. It is in the proper time slot. So, yeah, go Cal.
I might even be able to stay up to watch that one. However, I am, for no other reason than it makes Ohio State's season look better, I'm picking TCU. So there we go. Next up on December 27th, Carla, I'm going to let you explain the sponsorship here. The Independence Bowl, long-standing bowl, been around for a while in Shreveport. This is a Temple versus Duke. Temple is favored by 3.5 points. what I would really like to see out of this one is like a John Chaney, who is actually still alive, and Mike Krzyzewski kind of beating each other with heavy objects at the 50-yard line. Because I think about basketball here, but Carla, there's actual football game.
What those giant inflatable bubbles.
Right? No, I think like heavy clubs. I'm not a fan of either one of those guys. So let's just go for it. I think Chaney totally wins that. By the way.
Oh yes, definitely. John Calipari's money is on.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, so yeah, actually, that was one of the first things I put in this is that don't check your TV guides. This is not, in fact, a basketball game. It is an actual college football game that is being played, and it's a bowl game nonetheless. And it's sponsored by Walk-Ons. And I had to go look up what Walk-Ons was.
I'm glad you did, because I had no idea.
Walk-Ons is a sports bar that is partially owned by Drew Brees.
Oh, okay.
So thus the sponsorship, because the Independence Bowl is in Shreveport. Thus Independence Bowl is in Memphis, isn't it? Where's the Independence Bowl? I don't know.
Shreveport.
Liberty Bowl in
Memphis. Right. Independence Bowl
was in Shreveport. Also, shout out to these two fan bases having to go to Shreveport. Can we talk about the fact that Duke, the preppiest preppy Duke, and Philly's Temple have to go to Shreveport? Just spectacular.
Also worth noting that baked goods were way more easier to eat on the show than Cheez-Its were. Okay. Okay, so back to the Independence Bowl. So now we know it's sponsored by Drew Brees. So we're recording this on December 11th, and all of a sudden, Temple is in all kinds of Twitter feeds right now because of what happened today. So Temple's come a long way from a week 1 loss to FCS Villanova. They have a 1,000-yard rusher in Raquel Armstead. Their quarterback has thrown for 2,300 yards, but 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. What happened was that Temple had a decent enough season that their head coach got pilfered by Georgia Tech. So Temple is now being coached by an interim head coach by the name of Ed Foley, who went viral today during the Independence Bowl press conference over this ridiculously impassioned speech that resembled somebody else who also had the last name of Foley. I dare you to watch the Ed Foley speech.
All right, hold on.
And not want...
Oh, no, he looks like him too. Come on.
And not want to say that he lives in a van down by the river at the end of it.
All right, I'm...
Oh, my God.
Oh. It's a thing. And he sounds just like him. Ed Foley sounds just like Matt Foley.
Oh, boy.
Duke has beaten Northwestern, Baylor, and Miami on the road, but then got crushed by Wake Forest in their last game. Go Owls. Ed Foley, go win yourself a bowl game. We believe in you. Get out of that van from down by the river. Temple wins this game in Shreveport, Louisiana, and then goes and eats wings courtesy of Drew Brees.
Do you guys want to hear the audio of this?
Well, I'm gonna work on inserting this somehow because we can't not.
It's no. Crappy. I'm just saying this. You need to put the video in.
Okay.
It really does. He looks like he's got to pull his pants up from the back.
Hey, do you have this?
Go Temple.
Good Temple. Sweet.
Go Temple.
Sweet. David, what you got?
I'm sorry. Hold on. Real quick. One point.
Yeah.
Duke, you could have kept Wake Forest out, except you lost by 52.
Yep.
Wake Forest hung 52 on you to get into bowl season. Go Temple.
David.
Yeah, Ed Foley is in what I think should be a thing, an interim bowl coach Hall of Fame with Lance Guidry, Joe Kynes. I am all about interim coaches in bowl season. You know, these guys who really would not be hired by any program in their right mind. And they
except we said the same thing about Ed Orgeron.
Yep, this is
there's that.
There's your Ed Orgerons, your I guess Dabo kind of maybe.
Yeah.
He was a midseason replacement.
Yes.
Your Bill Stewart at West Virginia. Yeah, I love this. I love this part of bowl season because we're going to see that clip all December, and his halftime speeches and everything. It's going to be great. Temple's going to win this game. Duke again, a team limping into the bowl season against a team that is doing okay. So go Owls! Hoot hoot hoot!
Temple wins game down by the river. Is the river in Shreveport? There's got to be a river in Shreveport.
There's got to be a river in Shreveport.
I'm totally. If I can't get my thing with Chaney and Krzyzewski, I'm totally picking Temple here. AJ, the next one is yours. The Camping World Bowl.
This was going to be super sweet.
It was going to be interesting in one way, and now it's interesting in another. This is a WVU and Syracuse, and West Virginia at opening was favored by a touchdown. Somehow they're only favored by 1.5 now. AJ, what the hell happened?
Well, one, just real quick. Yes, there is a river in Shreveport. It is the Red River.
Sweet.
This is the Red River rivalry. One more time.
One more time.
No, it can't. No.
I swear on everything.
That's
Red
awesome.
River runs right through Shreveport. Anyways.
Okay.
No, here's what happened. The fine quarterback from West Virginia, his name is Will Greer. He's had a great season.
Terrific.
He's going to the NFL, and he's like, I'm not trying to get hurt in a bowl game.
No.
So he's not playing. So now WVU doesn't have their starting quarterback. Secondarily, they don't have their starting left tackle either.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, here's where it gets real fun.
Ouch.
So their starting left tackle is also going to the NFL. He's been very, very good this season. Here's the slight problem. Syracuse's defensive end, who would have lined up across from him, has 10 sacks this season and is widely regarded as Syracuse's best defensive player. I'm sorry, Jack Allison, who is playing quarterback for WVU. He's a Miami transfer, not of Ohio, of Florida, and he has not seen a ton of throws this season. And why would he? He gets to see Syracuse's defensive end in his business
with a left tackle who may not have seen a lot of playing time.
No, not a ton. Honestly, it's over under on this game is 68.5 because both teams don't really play defense.
Yeah.
But this game is being played in Orlando, and when I think Camping World, Orlando is not the place I think of. Original name for the city of Orlando was Jernigan. Just throwing that out there. There's your fact about Orlando that you may not have known. I learned that earlier this week.
Okay.
No, neither one of these teams has played defense because Will Greer's not playing because they don't have a starting left tackle. Give me Syracuse.
Okay. Carla, what do you think?
Yeah, two teams very even statistically heading into this game. The difference being that West Virginia won't have Will Greer. Syracuse hasn't been bowling since 2013. And as of right now, they're still going to have their quarterback. Eric Dungy actually hasn't said whether or not he's going to play in this game yet as of today. They're anticipating that he will play because his draft prospect isn't nearly as good as Will Greer's, hoping that maybe he'll catch some attention by playing in this game, but that's not officially been determined. Because Holgo is missing his offense, expect Holgo shenanigans in this game. That in and of itself is reason to watch this game, but expect the Syracuse win.
Okay, David?
You got to like a game that is Dino versus Holgo, no matter who the quarterbacks are. So I think this has the potential just to have fourth down, going for it for two, 48, 45, that sort of thing. I'm still going to go with Syracuse, a little more complete roster this season. But yeah.
I think I agree that this is, as I said, this is interesting for a different reason than it was interesting like just a week ago. But I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I think there's going to be a lot of fun. Certainly a lot of intrigue. But I think Syracuse is the pick for this one.
I debated whether or not to say this as the Florida person, the University of Florida person on this panel, but. I mean, a Will Greer season that did not see see itself to completion. I don't have a ton of empathy here.
Oh no, I can't blame you, dude. I cannot blame you.
Can we jump back in the schedule one game
Yeah.
to the Music City Bowl being played in the great city of Nashville? Auburn versus Purdue. I just want to throw this out there. Purdue, go get Gus Malzahn fired. They will never let him coach after losing to Purdue.
I think
They
God.
fire him because of his contract. We talked about that on the show.
Listen, there will be some fine Southern gentlemen in the state of Alabama who will not take too kindly to Mr. Malzahn losing to some Boilermakers from Whatton, Purdue. And this will happen. And listen, if Purdue gets Urban Meyer and Gus Malzahn in the same season, that'd be incredible. Choo-choo.
That would be Purdue's pretty much the greatest accomplishment football wise since like graduating Mike Phipps.
A second thing might be the fact that they've sold their ticket allotment already. They're out of tickets.
Boiler up.
Okay.
Nashville,
I'm a Big Ten fan, so yeah, I'm good with that. I'm all right. AJ, you have the last one on our list, and if Carla, if the Cheez-Its Bowl is not the best sponsored bowl on the games we're talking about, this would be the one, the Red Box Bowl, and that is one of the boxes outside your grocery store with the DVDs that you rent and take home and watch. This is in Santa Clara. This one actually in San Francisco. AJ, this is Sparty in Oregon. Oregon is favored by 3. AJ, tell us about this one, please.
This is going to be real stupid.
Will this have better attendance than the Pac-12 game?
No,
in the same
not.
building?
Absolutely not, because it's played at an even worse time. I didn't think it was possible, but here we are. This game is being played on a Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. This is a noon kickoff, West Coast.
So if you want tickets for this one, they're not going to be expensive.
No. In fact, just while we're here, I'm pointing this out. Just Redbox is sponsoring a bowl game being played in Silicon Valley, the area featuring multiple companies that are here to take it away. This is the spiritual successor to the Blockbuster Bowl, and yet, like, this is how dumb Redbox is.
Well, is this dumb or is this smart? Is this like,
no?
Screw
Redbox,
you guys.
Redbox is sponsoring this game, right? I want to think about all of the companies. Like, there's Netflix, there's Hulu, and all of these are in Silicon Valley. They're sponsoring a 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff on a Monday for a bowl game. There is nothing more physical media than this game. Let's see, Redbox Bowl. I'm on StubHub right now. All right.
Is it more expensive to rent a Redbox movie?
No.
I don't know what a Redbox movie costs.
I don't either.
I don't know, because I have streaming media in my life.
I know we're all on Wi-Fi. But I don't know what they're doing here.
We're talking low. Hold on. Let's go here. If you pay this, okay, I'm just going to say this price. If you get 50-yard line seats, it's $232. If you pay $232 to see this game, you can pay me $1,000 right now.
That's kind of silly. I think
I'll save you all of the hotel fees. You don't need to watch this game. End zone seats. Go ahead. End zone seats, lower bowl, because apparently they're tarp at the top.
25 bucks.
Okay, Crappy says 25. Carla?
I'll say 75.
75. David?
One Redbox DVD with late fees.
Starring whom?
Robert Downey Jr. Let's just go.
Okay, that's good. That's a good level. Okay, we got it.
Good level. Crappy is the closest to 25. It's $29 for end zone seats, y'all. Yes. You can go see a bowl game. And yeah, honestly, they're tarping the top.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's no way.
And they did that for the title game, for the conference title game.
Because they put a really gigantic stadium in Santa Clara, and they continue to want to play these games in the middle of rush hour traffic. Do you really think anybody in Silicon Valley is going to really want to stay at work past noon on New Year's Eve? Absolutely not.
As has been demonstrated many times. No, it's
no.
And it's unfortunate because this is a decent game.
No, it's not. Michigan State is awful. Justin Herbert's playing. Go Ducks.
Nah, you're so wrong about this. But we'll get to that. Carla, what do you think?
So we've talked about Sparty so many times this season. We keep saying they're the team that is like the most baffling team that, they lose to Arizona State, they beat my Nittany Lions, and then they go and lose to Nebraska. Like, okay, so who the heck is – and this is the way Sparty's been for the last 3 seasons.
Yes.
The team that you just cannot figure out. Playing the role of Sparty in the Pac-12 this year may be your Oregon Ducks. Not only do they wear the same color, but they also have a whole bunch of really baffling losses this year. They got destroyed by Arizona. But they beat Washington. Like, how does that happen in the same season? Sparty defense isn't great against the pass. They are good against the run. Unfortunately, that's not a great combination when you're going up against an Oregon team that likes to throw the deep ball. So I think the Ducks win this game, and it's also really funny that we have 2 teams that wear green in a game that's sponsored by Redbox. Merry freaking Christmas, everybody!
David, what do you think?
Michigan State has not been very good at the end of the year. I think they've scored 7 points in one game, 6 in another. Just no offense. Just kind of that D'Antonio. Just all of a sudden they have no. They go from functional offense to no offense. So I'm going to go with Oregon. They've had a pretty good rebound year under Mario Cristobal. We started this podcast with Mario Cristobal's old team, FIU.
Yes.
Picking them to win. So I'm going to finish my part picking Mario Cristobal's current team, Oregon, to beat Michigan State.
Okay. But the Ducks are clearly the consensus here. I have watched Oregon fold in too many bowl games. That's number one. Number two, in keeping with his reputation as the most annoying coach in the Big Ten, and doing the things that he should not do. This is absolutely a game Mark D'Antonio wins. I think that I can't tell you to watch this guy. It's unless you like defense and and you hate scoring, because it's going to be like a 14-10, something like that. But Sparty is going to win the Red Box Bowl. I'm telling you right now. Boys and girls, you can watch the Carla and Crappy Show for the duration of the college football season, which is dwindling rapidly, by searching Carla and Crappy Show on YouTube or Facebook. And if you prefer to have Carla and Crappy in your earbuds, you'll find the podcast version at Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, as well as on your favorite social channels. If you like the show, please rate and review. If you don't, mind your own damn business. AJ and David, and we'll start with you, AJ. Early December-ish pick for national title winner. What do you think?
Bama until proven otherwise.
That's hard to go anywhere else. David, what do you think?
Yeah, same. Alabama, just until proven otherwise. Accept the inevitable.
Okay.
Enjoy all of the other parts. If you're not enjoying this run of Alabama, college football has enough to offer to enjoy.
That's why we do the show, because there is plenty of great stuff coming up in the next 3 weeks. Carla, you are not allowed to tell me your national championship pick, because we're going to talk about this later. Any final thoughts for tonight?
We didn't talk about any of the games. There are a bunch of games that start this weekend on the 15th. There are some really good games. To my MTSU students who are making the trek to New Orleans for the New Orleans Bowl to go play Appy State. One, that's a tough draw. 2, go have fun on Bourbon Street. 3, don't tell me about it. 4, Jared, don't miss your band call.
Spencer Hall from Every Day Should Be Saturday recommends, for first-timers in New Orleans, tape a $20 bill to your leg because it might save your life later. And I think that's excellent advice. AJ, do you agree?
I've never been to New Orleans.
It doesn't matter.
But I would agree. Also, Spencer Hall does an amazing impression of the dog sound from the Casio piano that we all recall from the 1980s. Just go listen to Shutdown Fullcast episode this week where he does Casio Doggo Tannenbaum. It's amazing.
Oh God. Guys, thank you very much. AJ, we appreciate you being here. David, we especially appreciate you joining us. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Carla, thank you once again.
Thanks as always. We'll talk again in a couple weeks.
I will talk to you in a couple weeks when Carla will be back to discuss Final Four and then maybe one more for some kind of mythical college football championship. But we'll see how that goes. Guys, thank you again for watching. Have a great holiday season, a great bowl season, and we'll talk to you again soon. See ya. And I did that with a cat chewing on my leg. What in the hell were you doing?
I just want to point out.
Can you leave that in the show, please?
Maybe. This one, when she wants attention, just there's these like little nibbles like right on my Achilles. I don't know how she knows how to do that. That's the most annoying thing ever.
Cookie, what's your problem, babe?
She's hungry is what the problem is.
I did ask Abby if we could go to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah?
And she was like, really?
What's the matter with you?
Well, I was like, I asked and I was like,